Start the recording. The recording is started. Good afternoon, all. I hope that you have had a good time from the last time that we met. I hope that you are ready with NetBeans and that you're ready to learn something new. Now, today I want us to discuss control structures, and we need to see how to handle control structures in Java. You did control structures in VB.NET, you did control structures in C programming, you did control structures in C++ programming, which I taught you. I taught you, or you were taught by someone else, but there's a group I taught, another group was taught by someone else. Now, all of those classes you are taught control structures, and basically you have learned that a control structure is basically a block of code that controls the flow of activities in a program. All right, so basically I don't have to go through all of that again and to show you in theory form what a control structure is, the different kinds of control structures. I will go straight away to the coding part and how to implement control structures in Java. So I have opened NetBeans IDE so that we can start off right away. So I want us to discuss the two selection control structures, which are if else and nested if, and to see how they normally work in Java. Now I should begin by saying that if else and these control structures, whichever we are going to do, they don't have a difference. The syntax remains the same as in C++ and also in C. The syntax remains the same. So if remains if, else remains else. The curly braces, they do remain. They are universal, so nothing changes. We just want now to see how to basically apply now the knowledge of control structures in Java programming. And for today, I want us to do that by using the two selection control structures, which are if else and nested if. And if time will allow, we are also going to do switch case. All right, those things that we did in C++, same things, nothing changes. We just want to see how to implement it in Java. So let us begin. I'll give us a program here. So I'll be working on my IDE. Also, you can open your IDE. If you have a laptop, I actually encourage that you use your phone. You can use your phone you can use your phone to watch the lesson, to keep up with the lesson, to listen to what is happening, watch what I'm doing, and use your machine to write the code, so that you don't have to switch between tabs or switch between windows, which may get you lost, as I probably introduce concepts here and there. So you might need to use your phone for watching and tracking the classes, keeping up with the class, listening to the lecture, and watching what I'm doing, and use your laptop for doing the practical work. Okay, so I go to NetBeans. I want to show you how to write a program using if else, and I'm going to have a program. Of course, I'm writing it as a comment, as a comment. So we're going to develop a program where the user enters any number. The program checks whether or not, I hope that you can see this, whether or not the number is greater than 10. Sorry, whether the number is greater or less than 10. It then displays an appropriate message, e.g. number sorry, fix the number is greater than 10 or now see what we are having here. We are having a program where the user enters any number. The user should allow the user to enter any number. The program checks whether the number is greater or less than 10. Then it displays the number. For instance, if you entered 8, number 8 is less than 10. If you entered 11, number 11 is greater than 10. All right. So let's have a program to do that. So of course we have our program here. You remember this one, the scanner class. This was the what? This was the class for allowing. This is the definition for scanner class. Definition for scanner class for user inputs. And this was what? The definition of object for scanner. The definition of object for scanner. I think you can remember those very two important items for user input. So basically we are going to come here and we are going to declare just a number, a variable x, okay? And then we are going to tell the user, going to delete so that you can see it afresh. We are going to tell the user, so system dot out dot println, we are doing what? We are telling the user enter any number. So we have to, the user should enter the number. So x equals to what? In dot next int. Why int? Because it is an integer value, right? Did we? Oh, it's not in. It's entry. This one here, this object called entry. X equals to entry dot next int. In other words, this code just says this: you are telling the object entry to allow the user to enter an integer value into the variable x. That's basically what that means. Okay. So after that, we go to an if statement. If x is greater than 10, right? If x is greater than 10, then do what? Display what? Dot out dot print. Let's have printf. System dot out dot printf. We are going to say what? Number modulus b is greater than 10, and then of course we have what? We have x there. Else you see, when I just do that, it creates, when I create one curly brace, I press enter, it creates the other and arranges in a very good format. Okay, I'm going to copy this code here. So here we're going to say less. So now I want you to see this. This is if else. This is how if else looks like. If condition action. So condition, this is the condition. Condition is always in the bracket. Then action is the action. In other words, what should the program do if that condition is true or it returns true? Else action. So this is what the program should do when this condition here returns false. Hope we are together to that point. So let's run this program and see how it works. So it's running. Okay, here we are. So look at how it looks. So I can enter a number like 2. When I press enter, it says number 2 is less than 10. Can you see that? Yeah, that's basically what it does. Okay, let's run again, and let's enter a number like 11. Number 11 is greater than 10. Can you see that? So I'll run it again. So basically the if statement is very simple. It works the same way as the if else statements in all the other programming languages we've learned previously. Okay. Let us have another program now. Anyone with a question in if else before I move on to nested if else? Anyone with a question? Am I doing it fast, or the speed is fine? Okay, then let's now move on to nested if else. Now nested if else, this is it's like a complex if else, okay, that allows for many conditions to be tested once. All right, many conditions to be tested once. As just the same way if else we test one condition, here we can test multiple conditions, and for every condition, when a condition returns true, it performs an action. If it is false, it tests another condition. If that condition returns true, it performs an action. If that condition returns false, it tests another condition. Okay. So that's how if else is. Now the syntax for if else, I'm going to now go here. I'm going to go here. The syntax for nested if else looks as follows: if condition. I'm going to come a comment so that it doesn't give me errors. So that it doesn't give me errors, just for demonstration purposes. So if condition, then action or actions, if condition returns true. Okay. Else if. So I'm writing for you the syntax for if nested if. Else if condition. So I'll call this condition 1 because there are multiple conditions. It's not like in if else where we have only one condition. So else if condition 2 will have action or actions if the condition is what? Condition is true. It performs another condition. Let's say up to what we can say condition n, right? So the last condition, of course, it's an else if. Let's call it condition n, the very last condition, depending on the question in the program in question. Then the last one is else. Else is what the program should do when all those conditions above are not true. Okay. actions if all conditions above return false. Okay, so that is look at what I'm having here. Okay, so look at that. So this is the syntax for what? For a nested if else statement. That is the syntax for a nested if else statement. Okay, now I want to now have a program which is going to help us to to now understand it better. All right, now I'm going to have a program here that says as follows. So this is just the syntax, so I'll delete it because now you already know you already know about it. No, so I'm going to have a program here that says where the user enters any three numbers, then it checks and displays the greatest number. The greatest number. At a program where the user enters any three numbers, then it checks and displays the greatest number. Okay, so the user is entering three numbers. So how many variables do you need? Class, how many variables do we need to declare? Linda, Joseph, Molly, Lillian, how many variables do we need to declare in that program, in this program? Read that program. It's a very short program. How many variables do you need to declare? How many variables do you need to declare? Yeah, three is fine. Three is correct. So we need to declare three numbers for three variables for the three different numbers. So I'm going to call them x, y, and z. Then I'm going to tell the user enter what? Three numbers. All right. So x is equals to in.nextInt. Then I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. And then this is going to be y. And then this is going to be what? Z. We call it z, whatever. And then you now come to the nested if else to now compare those numbers. One of them is greater than the other. So if x is greater than y, and remember the logical operator and x is greater than z, then do what? You display. So I'm going to use printf modulus d. Modulus is modulus d is the greatest number. Then of course I use x there, right? Then I'm going to copy that. Else if y is greater than x and y is greater than z, then y, just change this, y, and then else now is now for when those conditions are none of them is true. So else do what? Display that what? Z is the greatest number. So we have two conditions, 1, 2. All right, just two conditions. So as we are going to run this program, yes, Joseph, I've seen your answer. That is correct. Now when we run this program, we are going to see what it brings. So I'm going to enter 3, 8, 2. Look at that. 8 is the greatest number. Can you see that? 8 is the greatest number. All right. Let me give you a question. Anybody with any concern in that area? So let me give you a question now. Very, very simple question, all right? So I'm going to say so develop a program where the user enters the prices of 3 different cars. Which then calculates the selling price. For each car using these rates. Using the following rates. I'm going to have the following. So the rate is going to be at a rate of 15%. And then we have two. The rate is going to be %, and if the car belongs to the following range in price, its selling price is going to be calculated with the rate of 120%. So then we are saying it then displays the names and buying prices. Right, it then displays the name of each car, the details, name, buying price, and selling price for each car. Now do that. Is that understandable? Are you able to understand what the question is about? A program where the user enters the names and buying prices for 3 different cars. So the user enters just the names of cars and their buying price. Basically, the program is supposed to calculate the selling price of each car. Okay, so when you enter the buying price, after you entered all the three buying prices, so I have stopped recording the session so that you can do that particular work. Then when you are done, you can post your work. You can post your code in the chat area so that we can see all of us. So get busy, get busy. So string name is equals to new string, but I'll call it name1. I'm going to have name2 and for the three different names of cars. Then I'm going now to declare what I'm going to declare the buying prices and selling prices. So I'm going to declare them as double. Okay, so I'm going to call them BP1, BP1, BP2, BP2, BP3, then selling price 1, selling price 2, and what? Selling price 3. Okay, and I'm going to declare these rates. Okay, I'm going to call it double rate 1 is equals to 50%. So 50% is 0.5. Okay, that way. Then double rate 2 is 7%, 0.87. Okay. Then double rate 3 is 120, which is okay. So I've declared those variables. How many variables? 3, 6, 9, 12. Then I now tell the user enter the name. Oh, sorry. System route.println enter details for car 1. Okay, that way. And then I would say system.out.printf. So I'm going to begin with name. I'll delete that. I just have the name. Okay, then buying price. But remember, the name we have to have a code for user input. So it's going to be name1 dot what? No, not name1. Yeah, name1 is equals to in dot, and for now it's not int because we are entering a string value. So it's going to be line, next line, in dot next line. Okay,
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Okay, so there we are. So next, what next line? Yeah, then this is going to be buying prices BP1. Buying price for the first car BP1 is equals to in dot next double. Okay. Right, that's how we normally do it. We are going to copy and paste this and enter details for car 2. Then this is going to be name 2, is going to be BP2. Okay. Paste that again, enter details for car 3. Then this is name 3 and BP3. Okay. So we now begin by checking the each car, testing which car lies in which range. Okay, if BP1 if BP1 is greater or equal to 1 and BP1 is less or equal to what? 1 million. Then NSP1, selling price for car 1 is what? Is BP1 times what? Rate 1, right? Times rate 1. Okay. Else if this is for calculating selling price for car 1. Is for calculating selling price for car 1. Then, so we are still testing car 1, okay? So else if BP1 is greater than what? Greater than 1 million. Or we can also say what? Greater or equal to what? 1 million and 1. And it is, no, we are using BP1. This is 2 million. Then what? Then we are saying SP1 is BP1 times what? Rate 2. Yeah. Okay. Else. BP1 is BP1 times what? Rate 3. We have now tested and calculated for selling price of BP1. Then now let's do for calculating. Let's calculate selling price for R2. So we are going to just copy and paste this. So if BP2, right? So we just change this to 2, okay? So we have how many? Okay, I'm going to get to that. And then let's now calculate what selling price for car 3. Let's change this to 3. We just change this to 3. Okay, so we've calculated. Now from here we have had a nested if else for calculating the selling price for car 1, because we can only determine the selling price if we know in what range that selling price falls into. So that's why we have had the nested if else, so that we can determine in which range it falls. Therefore, based on which range that buying price falls, then we can calculate the rate. I mean the selling price by using the rate. So we've done that for car 1, we've done that for car 2, we've done that for what? Car 3. So see, it has now calculated. So we have had how many nested if? We have had 3 nested ifs. Okay, so now we now display. Okay, we now display. So system dot out dot println car 1. See that? So I want to arrange them in a manner in which very organized. And then I'm going to say name. So here I'm going to use printf. I can actually use printf, and there's no problem. Any can do depending on what you want. So name, I'm going to use plus what? Name1. Okay, and then I come here, I paste this buying price what's BP1. Oh, there needs to be a plus there, right? For accessing that variable. And then what? Selling price. Then we can copy and paste this so that it can now display also for the details for car 2. So car 2 that way. I'm going to use printf. Then I'm going to use /n so that it can be in a new line altogether. So name, this is name2, this is BP2, this is SP2. I'm going to copy and paste that. Car 3, name 3, and so now our system is now ready. Let's see how it works. So let me run it. So can you see how it works? Enter details for car 1, name, call it Subaru. Buying price 2,218,000. Sorry, 2,865,786. Enter details for car 2. Have you seen something is wrong here? There's a logical error because it has not allowed me to enter for. It should tell me name, buying price that way, but here it displays all of it. So I'm going to cancel these outputs and come and correct. Okay, so I'm coming here, I correct. I'm going to have making a little changes here. Let me do that so that I can see what could be wrong. Enter details for car 2 or name. Oh, name 2. This is not name 1, name 2. Have you seen that error? It should be name 2 and BP 2. Alright, so we go back here and run our program. Go back here and run our program. Alright, so sorry. Have you seen that it is not arranging itself the way we want? So what are we going to do? We are going to use okay, we're going to use println. Println is still fine, and then println also. Println is for displaying the next line, right? So let me just copy and paste this so that this can be uniform in all of them. Yeah, so enter details for car 1, that's enter details for car 2. I just change this name 2, EP2. Enter details for car 3, name 2, name 3, BP 3. So now let's run it. Enter details for car 1. I'm going to have Subaru there. I want it to display in the same line. The program is actually running fine. It's just that I want a uniform display so that it doesn't look disorganized. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use printf. Okay, printf there. Also here, printf. Also here, printf, so that anytime it tells me to enter the name, it just allows me to enter in the same line. Okay, let's see how that works. Yeah, that's how it should work. So I enter Subaru. Let's see now how that works. We'll enter 1,987,898. Enter details for car 2. Can you see how that comes? It doesn't allow me to enter the name. So use printf. I think this is a mixture of println and printf that so it needs to be printf enter details for car 1, and then this should be /n, and then this should be /n buying price, and then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste that there.
Hello. You can't see anything.
Let me refresh the screen.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Okay, so we continue. So I'm just changing this. Name 1 BP1, name 2 BP2, name 3 BP3. I'm going to repeat whoever for double. I'm going to repeat these things, so don't worry. Let me first finish. We run. Buying price. It doesn't allow me to enter the name. Okay, let me enter Subaru there. It doesn't allow me to enter the name. Why? Let me delete that. Are you still seeing the screen? So let me work without I've just made those names like comments so that I can work without them first. Let me run the program. The idea is just to see the what? The idea is to see the nested if else, if it works. The other things are not very important. Okay. So I'm going to have all these like comments. I'm going to come back to them later. The idea is to see how this if else works. Okay. Nested if else. So I'm going to come here, enter details for car one, buying price. Car two, buying price. 1,896,678. A three, buying price 2,390,678. Can you see that? Car one, it has displayed the details. Car one, oh, I should actually have well, car one, buying price, selling price. Can you see it has calculated selling price using the rate? And the rate was 120% for that particular range E, because it has found that the range for that was between, it was over 2 million. So it has used the 120% rate. And then this one, buying price is that, selling price is that. Mm. And car 3, buying price is that, selling price is that. Can you see how that works out? Basically that's the idea. So I'm going to task you to actually improve on this code, and so that it can display name. Improve on this code so that it can allow us to display the name and other things. Okay. Then okay, so we have had this. I'm trying to correct so that it can actually give us everything. We have seen the nested if else works, but I also want to see that everything else works fine, such that a user can actually use it. All right. So enter name of car 1, that, then the other one will be enter buying price. Then buying price is what? BP1, right? BP1, then, and BP1 will be next what? Next double, because we had declared it as a double what? I declared it as a double variable, a variable with double type. So if we use this for all of them, we just use name2 and BP2. This is car2. Then we also use it here, car3, name3, BP3. Now I want us to see how this works. So let me run it. So enter name of car 1, Subaru. Enter buying price. Oh, something I've left out here. Now this one is fine. This one will work fine. Well. So here we are. Enter buying price. Let's have 4,980,987. Enter name of car 2. It's still not able to allow us to enter the name of car 2. Enter name of car 1. The buying price. You notice that it actually skips what? The name of car 2. It skips the name of car 2 and goes to buying price. If I continue, if I put the buying price, it will also skip car 3, and it will name of car 3, and it will skip to buying price. So can you see that it hasn't worked the way we wanted? It has not allowed us to enter the name from car 2 onwards, but every other thing is working. So let's see. Just a minute. The test was actually for the nested if else, the 3 nested ifs to work, and they have worked. So I need you to reminisce on that, so that as we meet in the next class, we are going to do while loops and do while loops and for loops, which is going to be the end of control structures. Then we start off with classes and objects in Java, and the concept of inheritance. All right. So that brings us to the end of our class. So, any question that you might be having? Any question that you might be having? Okay, sorry, I had muted. Sorry, I'm saying that In the next 1 hour, I'm going to allow you to practice on the things that we have learned. I'm going to give you a question which you can actually attempt in the next 1 hour. You can attempt it and also discuss with your colleagues. So I will type it in the chat area, and then probably, I don't know, you're going to screenshot it or something. Let me type it in the chat area, then you're going to screenshot it. So develop Java program then compute and displays the total, average, highest mark, and lowest mark. So I have given you a question there in the chat area. Develop a Java program that allows the user to enter marks for 5 subjects for a student. It then computes and displays the total, the average, the highest mark, and the lowest mark. So the way to determine the highest mark is to use a nested if else structure, and the way to determine the lowest mark is to use a nested if else structure. So you're going to have two nested if else structures, one for highest mark and another for lowest mark. The other ones are normal, computing total and average, and then you display now all of them. Okay, so screenshot that or copy it somewhere, so that that will bring us actually to the end of the class. But for you, for the next hour, that is what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Otherwise, so that if we meet in the next class, you are actually refined, you know how it works. And actually in the next class, we are going to discuss this particular question that I've given you. Yeah, we are going to discuss. So we are going to discuss this question and see how to go about it. So try it on your own. In the next class, we are going to see how it is. Okay, right. So I hope you have screenshot that or you've copied it somewhere, so that now in the next 1 hour you can be busy before now you go on with the rest of your evening. So I wish that we stop class at that. Have yourselves a good afternoon and a good evening.